Good evening. Welcome to the Black Conservative Voice of David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. Well, the inauguration is tomorrow, the 20th of January. Didn't check the time on it, but I guess I'm pretty sure it's probably earlier in the day. But I'm feeling a little sad today because our country has decided to separate its people from this event that's going on there in Washington, D.C. We have an inauguration happening regardless of the climate of the country in regard to actions and things that are going on in this country right now. I believe that shutting down the inauguration was probably not the good thing to do. We have an inauguration happening regardless of what's happening. I believe they could have found a better way to at least allow those who supported Joseph Robinette Biden for president, allow them to at least attend somehow, or either created some type of social distancing setup where they could allow people at least to come out, even within a distance, to be able to attend the inauguration. I don't know, maybe something has been set up, but I don't believe so, because I've seen even in Washington, D.C., where they've had military guarding the whole area, keeping people miles away from what's going on. President-elect Biden, no matter how few people want to come and see him be inaugurated, those of his supporters, I believe even with that, what is going on in our country, the people should be allowed to observe the inauguration on the ground, even if they have to be further back. I'm speaking out of this because I support the incoming. I support the American way, and we need to support our leadership, whoever it may be. I spoke out before, and regardless of what the circumstances may be, I believe, as a minister and a person who serves God, I believe that God knows exactly what he's doing. He puts in who he wants to put in, and he takes out who he wants to take out. I support the incoming president, but I support the American way even more. The government needs to answer for their crimes against the American way of life, and I believe they will. Our capital now looks like a police state. Is that what we really want here in America? I don't know yet how it will be resolved, but I believe our government has run amok, to quote an idiom. Now, when I say I support President Biden, I don't support everything President Biden stands for, but I do tell you this, because he's an American president, because I vowed as an American to honor our leadership, those who've been put in charge, regardless of whether I like them or not, he is going to be inaugurated President Joseph Robinette Biden tomorrow in the Capitol. But the way it's come down, I don't believe it was done correctly. I believe the American people were ignored in their desire to have things reviewed in this situation. Well, what can you do? They've done what they've done, and we just have to do what we need to do. In 2022, we need to get out and vote and return the House to the Republican Party. We have lost our way here in America, and the House and the Senate are run by sore losers and feel they have won the battle against the outgoing administration. Just because you're in the leadership Democrat Party does not mean you won the battle. I have news for you. The war was never against the Trump administration. It was never against the Trump administration. It was against the American people. Because the American people, through our for our outgoing president, our voices were heard. My mom always said, when you get angry, and you keep pushing it to a certain point where you get bitter, and you don't want to hear what anybody else says, you're in dangerous waters. because you are hurting yourself. The war was against you thinking you can keep beating a dead horse of racism and bring it back to life. There is no more pure race in this country. There is none. Me, myself, I was born here in this country. Me, myself, I'm of 3 different races, 3 different, maybe 4, 3 different races and 3 different nationalities. I'm American Indian, I have Jewish descent, and also have descent coming from Africa continent. So one little color thing, this color means nothing. When you look at somebody, there are people here that proclaim, say, hey, look, I have a white father and I have a black mother. I have a black mother, I have a white father. I have an Asian mother, I have a black father. I have a this, whatever. There's a lot of mixture in this country. And I venture to say that there is no more pure blood in this country in regard, other than maybe the Indian race. The Indian plant, they may have some people there that are all Indian and raised and stuff by Indian people who came over here. And they even probably had their goings from way back through other sources of nationality. But there's no more pure race in this country. To call somebody white or to call somebody African American or black may not well be accurate. The fact that our even Vice President Kamala Harris, never thought I'd hear myself say that, even Vice President Kamala Harris is not African American. Her descendancy does not come from this country. Her father was from another country, and her mother is from another country. And they're both not American. They may have came in and been naturalized as American citizens, but they're not from America, not as an origination. I was born here and I was raised here. But they were not born here and they were not raised. They may have been raised here partially, but they were not. So even though we call her because of the color of her skin that she's African American, she's not. She's not, and she'll probably tell you herself, she's part Indian and part Jamaican. She's something else. She's not an African American. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. But we look at the color of people's skin and not the content of their character, according to Dr. Martin Luther King. What he was trying to resolve in this nation wasn't anything about race. It was about looking at people for who they are and for what they stand for, not for the color of their skin. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with you here in a moment on the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. Welcome back. You're watching the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. President Trump has issued dozens of pardons and commutations on his last day in office. We'll find out about some of them later. We'll talk about that maybe in our next broadcast. President-elect Biden announced today, or yesterday I believe it was, that he has a DHS secretary stepping in, a gentleman by the name of Alejandro Mayorkas, I believe his name is, for Homeland Security Secretary, Department of Homeland Security Secretary. A move that could make a Cuban-American, a former federal prosecutor in California, the first Latino and first immigrant to serve in the cabinet post. Please tell him, Mr. Mayorkas, where you came from when you get in there. I don't know if he made the speech or not. We're going to read a little bit about the tweet that you just tweeted. But Mr. Mayorkas, he knows about coming over across the borders through immigration. He came over, he may have came over illegally, I don't know. He may have came over legally. But he is an immigrant from another country. He is an American citizen who came here from Cuba. Let me read his tweet here. When I was very young, the United States provided my family and me a place of refuge. Now I've been nominated to be the DHS Secretary and oversee the protection of all Americans, and those who flee persecution in search of a better life for themselves and their loved ones. Now, I believe that doesn't sound like to me that this gentleman is supporting open borders. It sounds like to me that he is interested in doing things the legal way. So we will see how this all plays out in the very near future as he is placed into office as well following the inauguration of President-elect Joe Biden. More Americans are leaving Democrat-controlled states since this pandemic. They're heading for conservative states during this time, according to the annual migration report that just came out. I wonder why. Moves surged in 2020 and 12% over 2019. In other words, it rose. Tennessee has the most, with Texas and Florida and Ohio following closely behind. And California has some shifting too. That this was before the pandemic, but 480,000 people moved to California. But in the coming days, following that, shortly before the pandemic, 650,000 people moved out. The trend there was prior to the pandemic. Governor Newsom's entering into office. Well, we're going to take a short break here. We'll be right back with you here on the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. Welcome back. You're watching the Black Conservative Voice with David Colbert here on the CTM News Network, the voice of truth. Now, there's a lot of things, people, that are going on, and the inauguration has kind of left us to say, let's see what happens. But I do know that the stimulus plan, the extended stimulus plan that President Joe Biden will bring into play after his first day in office, according to his statements, states that he will be sending out more stimulus funds to the American people. And of course, with the control of the Senate and the House, there's probably not much chance that this effort is going to fail. So be expecting those checks, those of you who have received funds previously, to equal up to the $2,000 that President Trump also wanted to give to the American people. Those who desperately needed, businesses were destroyed during this pandemic situation that went on in this country. Now, that's one thing the Democrats did agree with President Trump on. Yet, even with the situation it could have been passed, but you could blame Mitch McConnell on that. He stepped back and he refused to move forward with it, spitting in the face of our previous administration. I say pretty much vote him out of office too. He needs to get out of there. We need some young blood in there. The rhinos need to go. But we do need some conservative voices also in the Senate. More conservative voices, more than the Republican voices that are there, because the Republican voices a lot of times shift to the left and end up leaving us, the American people, hanging out with our butt in the wind, pretty much, we might as well say, because they don't care. It's a sad situation we live in here. I was reading yesterday about the Declaration of Independence, and I read that situation there in the Declaration of Independence says that the governed, us, the people, we have control over the government. And it also says we have the choice whether we want to move a government out, change a government system, or whatever. Now, somewhere along the way, we look at the election process and they're just not cutting it. We need to figure out some kind of way, maybe some laws need to be passed so that we're able to be more involved. But the only way we can get these laws passed, they're going to have to be passed, not passed, but they're going to have to be presented to the Supreme Court because these are constitutional issues. And please, Supreme Court, don't just sit on your butts and stay silent. If you see constitutional problems in our country, please step up and speak out on it. Not turn cases away just because you don't feel like being looked at as the bad guy or you don't want to challenge the quid pro quo that's going on in some of these politicians' lives. Anyway, and maybe in some of your lives. So, I don't know. That's enough said about that, but I still feel that there's some money slipping and changing hands to get things to go the way they're going. There are a lot of people claiming that this doesn't still exist, but we have people. So people, as long as people exist, I believe corruption will exist. But as far as the American people go, we need to get a better deal on the way that we are governed in this country. And we need to have more respect for the American people's voice, conservative or liberal, which means that you need to hear both sides of the argument. The social media is trying to block one side of the argument, and that's lopsided. This is America. This is the Mayorkas that's coming in for the DHS told you. He came here for freedom. He came here for the ability to be free, to think freely. In Cuba, they would take your business away from you and tell you, forget about it. You've done profitable, so we're going to take control of your business. Do you want to have this to happen in this country? I'm pretty sure you don't. But that is the way it has been always in communist nations. What did I tell you? They want to close the churches down first. They want to control the economy. They want to take care of your business. And we want to keep the people under control. Keep the people under control? No. The governed are the ones that are supposed to speak out and let the government know what they're thinking. Yet we're being pushed aside. So these people, this is a mob. No, it's not a mob. These are the American people. If they're saying something, they want to say something, they need to be able to say it without being shut up. This is why you have these rallies going on and people popping up everywhere, because you have conservative speech going on at these rallies. And some may be a little rough, but the thing is we need to allow their voice to be heard. That is why I'm here. I'm going to give you the position of the people, what they want to say. Now, for a while, President Trump was in there, he was pushing it forward. But right now, I'm a people, and I'm going to push the people's viewpoint, especially conservative viewpoint, because it's been blocked by the leftist media, and social media for right now. I believe social media need to be warned because the Democrats or the liberals were coming out against you first. And they will continue to come out against you if you continue to block free speech. Liberal media pushes us to the limit. Deprogram us deplorables, to use Hillary's words, from supporting President Trump. The liberal media is following big tech. Recent efforts have emerged from the left to continue to seek silence conservative voices. Katie Couric, our famous known NBC and CBS journalist, she says that listen to this, people, we need to be deprogrammed. Deprogrammed from what? We are standing up for our constitutional rights. You're saying we need to be deprogrammed from respecting what our forefathers set up in the Declaration of Independence and the Articles of the Constitution. We need to be deprogrammed from that because that's what the previous administration stood on, the Constitution of these United States of America. I remember President Obama in there. When he was in office, he constantly fought against the Constitution. Unfortunately, his vice president is in there now, which I don't agree with that either. Because I believe if you were in the White House for 8 years, I don't care if you're president or vice president, you should not be allowed to come back. That's the way I feel. And hopefully one day they will pass legislation, somebody, once a Republican gets back in charge, to make that a law. We need to have that where we don't have people coming back with the same mess that got us in the situation we are now after this pandemic, because before the pandemic, President Trump had us going in a great direction until some called the plandemic came about. Well, Katie Couric says that us Trump supporters need to be deprogrammed. She said this on Bill Mayer's whatever the heck it is, Bill Mayer's show on Friday night, speaking out about the Republicans who stood behind President Trump voting against the impeachment. I don't care. I think the average American would have voted against the garbage anyway because it's a moot point. The man is going to be out of office tomorrow, so why are we trying to impeach somebody that is already peacefully leaving office? I'm wondering now who are the Democrats or the next Republican that's going to be the scapegoat for the Democrat Party and their left-wing ideals. And what I mean by that is who's going to come after Trump is gone. They've been focusing their attacks on President Trump. When they did some underhanded stuff, they shifted it to Trump because they created a society that thought Trump was just such a horrible person. They brought up stuff that he said 40 years ago and tried to make it like he said it today. Grabbing a woman's body parts and stuff like that. Tapes and parties and stuff like that. Give me a freaking break. How many men do you know, women, I'll ask you this. How many men do you know that have not at one point or another been disrespectful to a woman? Give me a break. A lot of men say stupid stuff out of their mouth, including yours truly. Will it be Representative Hawley? Will it be Congressman McCarthy? Or will it be Marjorie Taylor Greene? I say it's either going to be President Trump's going to continue on to be persecuted, or it's going to move to Marjorie Taylor Greene, since she has said that she is going to seek impeachment against incoming President Biden. She's going to pull articles together for impeachment. And some are coming against her saying, why? Even Twitter shut down the page. Why? Why are you doing this? Why are you shutting down the page? Shut it down, Blue Watch after what's it? Because the problem is they keep trying to cover up the Biden mess. Simple as that. They keep trying to cover it up. Well, I got news for you people. God has said, and this is the way it is, be sure your sin will find you out. You can try to cover it up all you want. It's going to come out. Or will it be someone else? I believe that they're going to continue on. They're going to continue on about President Trump maybe about another 3, 4, maybe 6 months, comparison and stuff like that, and continue to attack him, even though he's going to be vacationing somewhere. But I'm telling you, President Trump is not done. And I'm not talking about the president. He's realizing now, and I believe this is the truth, he is realizing now he was the president of the United States. He actually now has more power than he did when he was in office. We'll see how that plays out. Because I'm telling you, he has a lot of friends all over the world. You can't stop all of them, people. You have a lot of countries that are getting on social media. And believe you me, I'm going to be talking about our former administration and President Trump as he moves along in his life. We'll talk and see what's going on about him, too. So I'm going to keep a watch on what's going on in his life because I believe that he is not done yet. I said maybe he should run for governor. Maybe he could run for governor of Florida or something like that. Or will it be someone else, a new in the Republican Party, that the Democrats will blame for their own obvious shortcomings? Maybe they will turn on themselves. And I really believe this is more truthful than anything else, that they will turn on themselves. I guarantee it. Because you didn't thwart the enemy, you pushed them back. So who else is there to turn on? It's just like a pack of dogs and wolves. They have nobody attack, they turn on themselves. I think they're going to try and continue their delusional Trump attacks. Trump is a man they love to hate. I think they will probably start coming after us, his supporters. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please, let me know what you think in the comments about what I just said. Because I want to know who you think he's going to come after next. Or they're going to come after, the Democrats going to come after next. Tell me. I want to know your thoughts. We're starting a new thing here on the program. Probably going to be on Monday nights or Monday afternoons. We're going to be reviewing our comments and seeing what we can bring on. And I think on this program, we'll probably use some of the comments that you give us on who you think the Democrat Party will come out to attack once President Trump is history and gone. Who are they going to attack? Are they going to attack his supporters? Which looks like to me that's what they're going after. They want to deprogram us. Curdy Currick, thank you very much. You want to deprogram the American people. You want to deprogram us for believing in our Constitution and our Declaration of Independence, because that's what you want to deprogram, because that is what we're standing on. We're standing on the laws that our forefathers put into play in this country. Yet we have a Democrat Party who has always hated the Constitution. Even our former President Barack Obama, he was a constitutional professor, but he didn't take up the Constitution to lift up the Constitution. He took it up to try to put down what the Constitution stood for. Supreme Court, I'm coming back to you because you're the only one who can do anything on constitutional law. And I'm sure they're going to be coming to you. They kept saying they weren't going to try to pack the court. Let's see what happens. Anyway, I want to thank you for joining us here on the Black Conservative Voice. My name is David Colbert. And I also want to encourage you, please share this program with others. Share it with them on Facebook and YouTube, from YouTube. Also, give us your comments in the comments. I don't care whether you like what I'm saying or not. If you don't like what I'm saying, make comments. But please don't use any profanity or nothing like that. There's no reason to do that. That is what uneducated people do. So please do share this program with others on Facebook. And also join us and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. And click on the bell if you want to receive notification each time our programs come on. Well, I want to thank you, and I also want to ask if anyone wants to support this program through sponsorship. As I told you earlier in another show, we have $20 spots, 30-second spots for $20. And you can do a lot with your business if you do that, because we are reaching quite a few people, and we're going to continue to reach people because we know you want to hear a conservative voice. You want to hear the conservative viewpoint on the things that are going on in our Congress, in our Senate, in our executive branch, and the judicial branches of our government. Well, once again, I want to thank you for joining me here on the Black Conservative Voice. I'm David Colbert. And as I always like to say, God bless you, God bless America, and God bless the world. Until next time, this is David Colbert saying good night and God bless.